There are 21 of the most powerful spiritual laws that really start to unlock our divine potential. Once we even are aware that these laws are there, start to understand that the universe operates according to immutable existence, from the smallest particles to the grandest galaxies. So these 21 spiritual laws that we get to learn about here today are often referred to as universal laws, and they provide a roadmap for understanding our reality, influencing our everyday experiences. Our thoughts, feelings, actions, and behaviors are involved in manifesting our deepest desires. The law of attraction, for example, is a common one to many. While there's a recognized diversity in the number of these laws, some speak of 7, 12, 21, 28, so many different laws. This post compiles 21 of the most powerful spiritual laws, drawing insights from multiple sources to hopefully guide you on your journey of transformation. By aligning with these laws and principles, you can gain a deeper connection to God, the universe, and the divine, to foster better relationships and unlock your full potential. This isn't just about wishful thinking at all. It's about conscious and deliberate action to create the life you desire. Action that the mystics, monks, sages, and saints and prophets have taught us for centuries. Christ, being the greatest teacher we have ever had walk the face of the earth, showed us how the laws of sin and death are overcome by the law of the spirit of life. He also taught spiritual principles for answered prayer, such as asking in faith and in God's will. And that's the law, which is very much part of giving and receiving, sowing and reaping, and so on. One profound lesson I've learned over the last 3 decades of witnessing individuals in deep despair, those who seem to see no way out, transform into fully realized and actualized human beings, radiating compassion and peace in remarkably short periods of time. Once they get it, once their eyes open, they're going places, There's an order in the chaos, a reorder that operates through a complex web of spiritual laws. Equally important is the understanding that nothing happens by accident. Everything unfolds in divine order. And this is something I teach on a daily basis, is that there are no accidents, even though your mind believes that there isn't an order, that it's bad luck, that you've been picked on, or that you're a victim. No, nothing in this world happens by accident. It was Plato who said the laws of the universe are never broken. Your mistake is to think that the little regularities we observe on the planet for a few hundred years are the real unbreakable laws. So, for instance, if 2 birds fly past and one falls, that event is intricately woven into the fabric of the divine matrix rather than being merely random or accidental. If you perceive your life unfolding by chance, it really may be time to embark on a journey of spiritual awakening. The more you contemplate these laws, the more evident they become in everyday life, throughout history, and into the future we're stepping into, a future where fear is inevitably transformed into love, time and time again. So let's examine these laws together and explore what wisdom they can offer us. At the very least, these 21 laws provide a solid foundation from which to start any journey. First is the Law of Divine Oneness. It's a foundational law that states that everything in the universe is interconnected. Universe, after all. So all beings, objects, and energies are part of a singular unified field. Your thoughts, actions, and intentions create ripple effects that influence not only your personal experiences, but also the collective consciousness. Second is the law of vibration. This law explains that everything in the universe is in constant motion, vibrating at specific frequencies, including your thoughts and emotions, like frequencies that attract like experiences, meaning positive thoughts and feelings create high vibrations, high energy, which in turn attract positive outcomes. That's the law of vibration, and everything is vibrating, nothing is still. So E equals mc squared, energy equals mass. Energy we can't see, mass we can. but they're just vibrating at different frequencies. The law of correspondence is summarized by the phrase, as above, so below, as within, so without. This law teaches that your outer reality is a direct reflection of your inner beliefs and thoughts, patterns in the universe reflecting patterns within yourself, the law of correspondence. 4, the law of attraction. This one we all know, perhaps the most famous of spiritual laws. The law of attraction states that like attracts like. It's pretty simple. Whatever you focus on, whether positive or negative, will be attracted into your life. If you can hold it in your head, you can hold it one day in your hand. These are the things that you learn when you cultivate contemplative intelligence. When we cultivate a positive mindset, set clear intentions, visualizing our desires regularly, and then every day using affirmations to keep your focus on what you wish to attract. Don't go mindless. Stay mindful. 5, the law of inspired action. I call this the law of innovation, really. Innovation is action in a spiritual way. And this law emphasizes that manifestation requires more than just positive thoughts and visualizations. It actually requires intentional, aligned action. Action, like love, is a verb, Inspired action or innovation flows naturally from intuition. That's your I7X extrasensory side of yourself. And it's an intuition that provides a deep sense of knowing rather than being forced or obliged. So the law of inspired action says, listen to your intuition and act on those opportunities that resonate within you, even if they're unconventional. Breaking down goals into actionable steps and celebrating small victories builds momentum, and it actually builds the life that you really, really want. 6 is karma, the law of cause and effect. Another one we all know quite well. This law states that every action, thought, and word generates a corresponding reaction. What you sow, you reap. There is an absolutely perfect accounting system in the universe, ensuring no debt goes unpaid and emphasizing personal responsibility for choices. The law of responsibility, which we'll discuss later, is super important. We all make choices. We all are responsible for our own actions. Be mindful of your thoughts from today. Be mindful of your words and actions and make conscious choices that bring happiness and success to yourself and others. That's the law. 7, the law of compensation. That's about giving and receiving, closely related to the law of cause and effect. This law asserts that you'll be compensated for your efforts and contributions. The energy you put into the world will return to you, but it's often multiplied. If things are stolen from you, God says, He'll give you 100 times back what you've lost, and I've seen it 1,000 times. The universe operates through dynamic exchange. 8, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy is constantly moving and changing form. Higher vibrations can transform lower vibrations. So nothing, especially energy, which makes up everything, is ever static. You have the power to shift negative energy, though, into positive energy by changing your thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors. In doing those things, your consequences, which your brain cannot do, will change. That's the law of transmutation of energy. So this is the good news. When we're faced with challenges, consciously choose to focus on positivity and the doors will stay open. You see, it's like knock and the door will be open. Ask and you will receive. That's practical application of the law of the perpetual transmutation of energy. 9, the law of relativity. This teaches that everything is relative. Situations are neutral until we assign meaning to them. So our perceptions and experiences are actually shaped by context, encouraging us to shift our focus from problems to opportunities. And I want you to understand that that's all therapy, CBT, DBT, all forms of therapy are shifting our focus from problems to opportunities, from being victims to victors. There's no other therapy in the world, and God is the ultimate therapist. If you practice gratitude, you let go of perfectionism, control, blaming, and in return you get resilience, wisdom, understanding, and assistance that contributes to your journey. The law of polarity is number 10, which states that everything has an opposite. Again, light and dark, joy and sorrow, love and fear, thorn and rose. These opposites exist to provide contrast and help us understand our experiences more fully. The law of rhythm. This law reminds us that life moves in natural cycles and rhythms, periods of growth and rest, prosperity and hardship, and everything has a natural ebb and flow. And aligning with these cycles helps us navigate the ups and downs with grace. It's a Pacific life. It's like waves that go up and down, never static, always moving in cycles and rhythms. So pay attention to your personal and natural rhythms. Plan your activities and schedule creative projects during high energy periods. We all go through low and high energy periods, so make sure you plan these out. At 12, we have the law of gender that persists that both masculine and feminine energies exist within all of us. And we need to balance these male, masculine, and feminine energies. 13 is the law of humility, which teaches us to let go of our ego and accept the truth of our circumstances before you can change them. Denial or resistance only creates more suffering. So embracing humility, letting go of your ego, opens the door to personal growth and transformation by acknowledging your weaknesses, mistakes, and limitations without placing blame. The mind loves to place blame, and it's a dead end. So practice self-reflection with this law and take responsibility for your actions, approaching life with a sense of oneness, openness, and willingness to learn. 14 is the law of acceptance or allowing, which emphasizes accepting people, places, things, conversations, situations, and events exactly as they occur without resistance. Accept them as if you chose them. It suggests that the present moment is as it should be, and we don't know it shouldn't be that way. And struggling against it is akin to struggling against the entire universe. We're going to lose. So acceptance creates peace and openness to receive new opportunities and keep those doors open. 15 is a favorite of mine, which is the law of impermanence, which also persists that everything in the universe is in a state of constant change, motion, and flux. Nothing is static or stuck. All expressions of life are ephemeral, momentary, liminal. This law reminds us that everything's going to change. It's going to go up and down. We're going to build and break. So if we cooperate with constant change to avoid suffering, we grow. We develop. We're spiraling upwards instead of spiraling downwards. So practice non-attachment. The Dalai Lama says that all our troubles stem from a desire for desire, a passion to get our way. And we need to let go of clinging. When faced with a bad day, just remember, this too shall pass. Get back into gratitude as soon as you can. This perspective helps manage stress and maintain balance. Accepting the law of impermanence, even when we grieve, is super, super important in staying the course. 16 is the law of growth. It's all about real change beginning from within. To see changes externally, you must first transform yourself. Personal growth is a continuous journey, but it always starts from within, and we always start our journeys from without until we become mature enough to enter into the second half of life where we can see the law of growth and change from within. So don't go out, go within. Focus on improving your mindset, attitude, and your habits. Those self-improvement practices are really, really powerful. At 17, we have the law of three, which asserts that every new phenomenon arises from three interacting forces: an affirming force, denying force, and reconciling force. To apply this, The key takeaway from the Law of Three is that true solutions emerge not from endless conflict between two sides, but from recognizing and integrating the mediating force that unites them, leading to a new and whole outcome. This law is a fundamental concept that came about from the Enneagram, and it states that all phenomena are the result of the interaction of three forces, known as positive, negative, and neutralizing forces. So this law of three is possibly a difficult one to understand, but by looking for a hidden third force, we can move beyond dualistic thinking, which is a trap, to find deeper understanding and meaning for more effective solutions in our lives and our relationships. As an example, imagine a family disagreement where two siblings have strong opposing views on a household decision. First, you identify the affirming and denying forces. One sibling might want a new pet, which is affirming, while the other is concerned about allergies and responsibilities, and that's the denying. So, secondly, we find the reconciling force. Parents, for example, here would act as the reconciling force. And then we would create a new outcome from this understanding. So instead of letting the conflict fester, the parents can mediate by finding a compromise or creating new solutions that address both perspectives. And that is how it happens in our careers, in our relationships. 18 is the law of focus. You cannot focus on multiple things at once to achieve your goals. What you focus on expands. Where focus goes, energy flows. So direct your energy toward one thing at a time to create success, focusing on small, consistent habits, for example. Law 19 is the law of here and now, the law of presence, which emphasizes the importance of being here now. Dwelling on the past or worrying about the future really prevents you from fully experiencing life. So stay present and aware of your actions and their potential consequences to seize opportunities in the moment. Law 20 is the law of equilibrium or balance, which suggests that the universe inherently seeks and maintains balance and harmony in everything. So it includes physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual states, and uses those opposing forces we've spoken so much about, like light and dark, success or failure, the masculine or feminine, to provide contrast and contribute to a greater whole and overall harmony. So seeking inner balance, harmonizing energies, accepting the dualities in life at first, accepting that life does have good and bad, happy and sad, etc., is a good start. And embracing these dualities instead of resisting the negative one is very important. You see, if you resist negative emotions or situations, you can't selectively avoid. You'll avoid the good situations, the spiritual growth, and the peace you would have got as well. Your mind cannot selectively avoid this and embrace that with ease. When your energy is aligned and balanced, you can experience life flowing. That's the flow people talk about. And acceptance really is in the midst of it. So without the blame, without having to be right or defend your point of view constantly, you will apply these laws and develop greater peace, resilience, and success in your life. Finally is the law of free will, last but definitely not least. While the universe may guide us, we have the freedom to choose our paths. Every single decision shapes our reality and spiritual journey. Remember the importance of this law. Exercise your free will by making conscious internal choices, understanding that every decision carries consequences. So those are the laws, and there are many, many ways to read them, write them, perceive them, and understand them. And I will leave that all to you, but integrating some of these laws into your daily life definitely leads to positive, transformative outcomes. Remember that nothing happens by accidents. It'll allow you to stay present and accept the things you cannot change. The common question is, how do you practice these laws? As you practice anything with daily meditation and reflection, contemplation, conscious choice making, journaling, speaking about awareness and growth, and then understanding which law is at play in your life. So V. Edmund said that you should never doubt in the dark what God told you in the light. Now, this is very, very important when it comes to these spiritual laws, because we are not blind. We choose blindness. We succumb to fear. No matter who we are, we use defense mechanisms as shields of war. When we shield, we deny, avoid, minimize, and so on. So we lie, in other words. Only the truth will set us free. And the truth is that it is all true. What you've heard of these laws, God, angels, creation, and Christ, it's all true. It might be open to interpretation, that's for sure. But in the end, it's all true. So you can be still and know all these truths. Understand that love always prevails, and we are called to embrace it. We dance in the realm of flesh and bone, light and shadow, divine and earthly, yet in the end, there is no death, no fear and no confusion, only clarity and transparency. And if you can get quiet, you will be still and know and be able to use these laws to your advantage. That's what it's about. So you must understand that the mind is geared to deny, avoid, blame. And that's okay. We've just got to become aware of it and then change our action once we accept it. So this is what the snake did in the garden. Denying the truths that felt too heavy. Denying truths appears to work for a time, but it's ignorance is bliss, and then it's not. Ignorance is bliss is a law, but it doesn't last for very long. And in the end, the divine, whether seen as God, love, or universal spirit, whatever it is, guides us through life's intricate labyrinth, leaving behind these 21 spiritual and universal laws as keys and clues along our path, aiding and mending the sinking ships we steer through life's hectic storms. All love is law, and all laws are rooted in love. Embracing the 21 spiritual laws is a profound personal journey towards global transformation. Each law is a thread in the intricate tapestry of existence, inviting you to weave a narrative of enlightenment, peace, and harmony. May the wisdom of these universal principles guide you, illuminating your path towards the realization of your deepest desires and your true divine self. Namaste.